The British driver sees the checkered flag first. Lando Norris wins the Australian Grand Prix in a brilliant battle all the way to the flag. He beat Max Verstappen by 0.8 of a second. George Russell completes the podium.
The 2025 Formula One season was supposed to be Lando Norris's crowning moment, a campaign built on years of loyalty, near misses, and unrelenting commitment to McLaren. When he triumphed in Melbourne, it looked like the prophecy was being fulfilled. But 5 races later, the story has taken an unexpected and deeply personal turn. A leaked exchange between Norris and Oscar Piastri has exposed the cracks forming within McLaren's supposedly united front.
Lando Norris has just said in the pen that he thinks the Red Bull was the fastest car today. Do you agree with him?
No. I think our car was still quicker.
The numbers tell a harsh story. What started as a 23-point lead for Norris has transformed into a 16-point deficit. Piastri has won 4 of the last 6 races, out-qualifying his teammate regularly and demonstrating a level of consistency that has the paddock taking notice. The Australian's stellar performance has not gone unnoticed, raising serious questions about Norris's ability to maintain his position as McLaren's lead driver. The leaked conversation, reportedly captured on a hot mic or overheard in the paddock by those close to the team, reveals Norris expressing frustration about being left behind. While the exact words haven't been officially confirmed, sources suggest Norris voiced concerns that all the work he's done to bring McLaren to the front might now be overshadowed by the rising star next door. Former F1 world champion Damon Hill weighed in on the situation with brutal honesty. The team belongs to the team, Hill said. It doesn't matter who was there first. McLaren wants a winner, and if Oscar's that guy, so be it. These words cut deep because for years McLaren was Norris's team. Zach Brown backed him relentlessly. The fan base adored him. Sponsors lined up behind his image. But Formula One is a results business, and sentimentality doesn't win titles. The transformation of Oscar Piastri from rookie to title contender has been remarkable. McLaren team principal Andrea Stella attributes this improvement to more than just the car. Looking at the way Oscar is mastering and managing tire degradation at the moment, no way that this improvement would come simply from the car, Stella explained. This has happened not by chance or not because Oscar is getting a little older. This is because there's been a lot of work done by the engineers in terms of understanding the driving style, how you damage the tires, how you can prevent damaging the tires. The complexities of modern tire management demand nuanced approaches. Different forms of degradation, whether front or rear graining or temperature control, require specific techniques. That Piastri has begun to manage these variables successfully under race conditions reflects his growing maturity and understanding as a driver. Stella added, like I say, I think this is testament to the quality of the work done by Oscar and the team around him. Martin Brundle's analysis provides further insight into the shifting dynamics within McLaren. Asked if he thinks Verstappen races the McLaren drivers differently, Brundle said, 100% unquestionably. I think he knows that there's something a bit more Street Fighter about Oscar Piastri, and he saw it in Jeddah. I think Max knows he's got a different animal when Oscar's in his mirrors, not by much, than Lando. The positioning of the car reveals a decisiveness about Piastri's approach, Brundle added. There's just something in the way. Lando's not quite as decisive how he places the car when he's overtaking, and he'll learn from that. This observation resonates with recent on-track incidents, particularly in Miami, where Norris lost valuable time in 2 situations with Verstappen. Miami perfectly encapsulated the frustration bubbling beneath the surface. Turn 2, lap 1. Norris and Verstappen go side by side. A snap of oversteer from the Dutchman forces Norris wide. He drops places, his rhythm disrupted. Later in the recovery drive, Norris overtakes Verstappen but does so off track limits, costing him more time. The end result, 2nd place, another almost. After the race, Norris was open about his frustrations. It's crash or don't pass with Max, he said. He's not racing smart. But the subtext was clear. Norris feels boxed in, fighting 2 fronts. Verstappen on track and Piastri in the garage. The pressure is evident in Norris's recent performances. Costly qualifying errors in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia compromised his weekends before the lights even went out. Formula One fans have been left questioning Norris's racecraft as he continues to falter in wheel-to-wheel combat situations. Pundits and analysts have raised concerns about Norris's performance when fighting in close quarters on the track. The young driver seems to lack the fundamental skills needed to excel in high-stakes overtaking maneuvers. Meanwhile, Piastri has been nothing short of sensational. He's shed the rookie label faster than most in recent memory. Last year he was fast but inconsistent. This year he's fast and frighteningly efficient. He's winning races, out-qualifying Norris on Saturdays, and managing tires like a seasoned veteran on Sundays. The composure he showed in his battles with Verstappen in Jeddah and Miami is championship material. Even Verstappen himself has acknowledged Piastri's skill. And coming from Max, that's high praise. Brundle's assessment is stark. He's won 4 of the last 6, and it's just looking like absolute world championship material. I think his rate of improvement has been pretty mighty, and he picks things up really quickly. Towards the end of last year, I think we saw this kind of potential. Did I expect it to arrive in such style so quickly? Probably no, I didn't. He's just winning, and he looks so confident about it, and he's so unflustered about anything and everything. The implications for McLaren are significant. The upcoming European triple header starting in Imola will be pivotal for the narrative of the 2025 F1 title race. As Brundle explained, the problem McLaren are going to have is if Max Verstappen and George Russell keep pumping in the results, and Mercedes have got an update coming at Imola that they're quite excited about, but I'm sure they'll all improve to an extent. The danger is clear. If they're there, there's no doubt in my mind that Piastri and Norris will take points off each other. So they've got to be careful that they're not so focused on each other that somebody else comes in and wins the championship, as Alain Prost did in 1986. McLaren might have to make an early choice. Brundle warned, the problem McLaren have got is if you wait until somebody is mathematically out of the world championship, that's going to be October, November time in this championship. So McLaren might have to take a decision before that to make a choice. It depends how it unfolds, but they won't be thinking about that until the summer break at least.
Placed at the Silver Arrows, Lewis Hamilton took his Ferrari off-piste at turn 22. The 7-time champ later gave Albon a fright.
It's dangerous. Company.
Lando Norris was another concerned about traffic.
Why does no one use radios at all? Yeah.
Ferrari's 2025 season has been underwhelming. After finishing just 14 points behind McLaren in last year's Constructors' Championship, everyone expected them to fight for the 2025 title. Instead, they're far from that goal. They currently sit as the 3rd fastest team on the grid, trailing both McLaren and Mercedes. The F1 community and media have criticized the Maranello-based team heavily. Frederic Vasseur's leadership has come under scrutiny in recent weeks, but the Ferrari team principal has found a clever way to deflect attention by highlighting Max Verstappen's struggles. During the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix weekend, as Ferrari continued to face performance issues, Vasseur deployed his strategic media approach. Rather than defending Ferrari's shortcomings, he pointed to the inconsistency of other teams, particularly Red Bull's star driver. Friday practice in Jeddah revealed grim signs for Ferrari. Their pace wasn't promising in either FP1 or FP2. This raised concerns, especially considering they'd brought rear wing upgrades specifically to address driving difficulties their drivers had been experiencing. A hot practice day finishes under the lights, tweeted Scuderia Ferrari HP on April 18, 2025. These upgrades included a shorter chord rear wing flap, an offloaded top rear wing, and an offloaded single-element lower beam wing. Despite these technical modifications, the SF25 continued to show clear weaknesses. Telemetry data from FP1 revealed that Ferrari performs well in fast corners, but struggles significantly in slower sections. In particular, the car has difficulties in slow corners with rapidly changing directions, where it loses most of its lap time. Charles Leclerc frequently registered the best minimum speeds in faster sections, but failed to close the gap in the first sector. The SF25's downforce appears to be present and efficient, but mechanical rotation and setup still need improvement. These technical issues have prevented Ferrari from extracting the car's full potential consistently. When questioned about Ferrari's performance during the press conference, Vasseur's response was calculated. He simply asked for patience. The Frenchman insisted that, except for McLaren, no other team on the grid had everything figured out. Rather than focusing on Ferrari's problems, he highlighted the inconsistency plaguing the entire field, with Max Verstappen serving as his prime example. That means we have to stay calm, and we have to stay calm on the conclusions. I think it's true for us, but it's true for everybody. If you look at Max, for example, he was flying in Japan, and the weekend after, he was struggling, Vasseur stated.
You have to stay calm, and we have to stay calm on the conclusion. And I think it's true for us, but it's true for everybody. If you have a look on Max, for example, he was flying in Japan, and the weekend after he was struggling. That today the F1, the pack is so tight that for small mistakes you can lose 5 or 6 positions on the grid.
By drawing attention to Verstappen's dramatic performance swings, Vasseur effectively shifted scrutiny away from Ferrari. He pointed out how the Dutchman had delivered an incredible Suzuka pole lap and victory, only to have a horrific weekend in Bahrain where the RB21's grip was inconsistent and Verstappen could only finish P6. This tactical deflection allowed Ferrari to avoid deeper questioning about their own issues while creating a narrative of a generally unpredictable F1 season. Vasseur's comments about the competitiveness of the current grid weren't wrong. The 2025 F1 season has seen tight margins between teams, with small errors potentially costing multiple grid positions. Today in F1, the pack is so tight that for small mistakes, you can lose 5 or 6 positions on the grid, Vasseur emphasized.
That today the F1, the pack is so tight that for small mistakes you can lose 5 or 6 positions on the grid.
This reality has been demonstrated repeatedly this season. McLaren has emerged as the dominant force, with Oscar Piastri claiming victory in Bahrain. However, even they've experienced inconsistency with their second car. Red Bull, the previous dominant team, has shown surprising vulnerability. Verstappen's concerns about race pace in Saudi Arabia highlight their struggles. Verstappen said this after qualifying P7 in Bahrain. For whatever reason, I've been struggling with the brakes, the feeling retardation, so it's something that we need to investigate. And then, general grip, I guess throughout the lap, it was quite inconsistent. These struggles with tire degradation continued into the Saudi Arabian GP weekend, with Verstappen finishing FP2 in 3rd place behind Lando Norris. Meanwhile, his teammate Yuki Tsunoda showed promising speed before crashing in the final moments of FP2. The competition has indeed tightened, with McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull all capable of strong performances on their day. This unpredictability has given Vasseur the perfect cover for Ferrari's inconsistency. Lewis Hamilton's highly anticipated arrival at Ferrari has not yielded the expected results. After winning the sprint race in China from pole, his only highlight so far, Hamilton has struggled to adapt to the SF25. He was disqualified from the Chinese Grand Prix due to a technical infringement, finished P7 in Japan, and only managed P5 in Bahrain. In Saudi Arabia, things weren't looking better, with Hamilton finishing FP1 in 8th and dropping to 13th in FP2. Normally, Saturday goes backwards, but there's not a lot of backwards for me to go from where I am.
No, normally Saturday goes backwards, but there's not a lot backwards for me to go from where I am, so hopefully tomorrow.
This is a concerning statement from the 7-time world champion. Hamilton currently sits 7th in the championship with 25 points, 7 fewer than teammate Charles Leclerc in 5th, and 52 points behind championship leader Lando Norris. The British driver has been candid about his struggles, particularly with tire management. Getting the tires working today was the issue from my side. It's got nothing to do with the team, it's just we're struggling to get the tires working, Hamilton explained.
But yeah, I think getting the tires working today, I think was the issue for my set.
Is that a case of still learning the car as well and the team, or is that just specific to this track and today's running?
To do with the team, it's
Charles Leclerc, meanwhile, has shown better adaptation to the SF25. Currently 5th in the championship standings, Leclerc has been more consistent than his new teammate, although still far from challenging for wins regularly. Both drivers experimented with different setups during Friday practice in Saudi Arabia, with Hamilton acknowledging they might converge their approaches for the remainder of the weekend. He said, We'll work together tonight to see, because through both sessions, we're trying different things across both cars to then converge. So wine settings and all sorts.
Possibly. We'll work together tonight to see, because we're through both sessions, we're trying different things across both cars to then converge. So wing settings and all sorts.
When asked if Ferrari had all the ingredients to be successful this year, Vasseur responded with a culinary metaphor that perfectly encapsulated their situation. The ingredients are all there, but now it's like cooking. You have to put the ingredients together at the right stage, the Frenchman said.
Ingredients are all there, but now it's like cooking. You have to put the ingredient together at the right stage.
This cooking analogy reveals Vasseur's understanding of Ferrari's situation. They have the components for success: a quick car when optimized, strong drivers, and improved strategic execution. However, they've rarely managed to bring all these elements together simultaneously. Honestly, I don't have the feeling that we've extracted the best from the car so far, but I would say that it's true for us, but it's true also for the others. Vasseur continued.
Honestly, that I don't have the feeling that we extract the best from the car so far, that or perhaps on some occasions, that on some sessions. But I would say that it's true for us, but it's...
He pointed to Ferrari's approach from 2024 as something they need to replicate. It was one of the skills of the team last year to be able to capitalize hundredths of a second at a time. I hope that we'll have the same pace this year.
If we want to improve, and I think it was one of the skills of the team last year to be able to capitalize hundred of second by hundred of seconds, and I hope that we'll have the same pace this year.
This methodical approach to improvement stands in stark contrast to the heated criticism Ferrari often faces from the media and fans when results don't materialize immediately. Another aspect of Vasseur's media strategy has been carefully managing expectations around Lewis Hamilton. After Hamilton's sprint race victory in China, excitement reached fever pitch. Many began speculating about championship possibilities for the 7-time world champion in his first season with Ferrari. Vasseur has worked to temper these expectations, and he said,
"Find a good balance for the car for him, and we are pushing on both cars exactly in the same way." I think you were all a bit more enthusiastic the Saturday evening in China.
The Ferrari boss has emphasized that Hamilton brings valuable experience to the team, but needs time to adapt.
He's coming with his own experience, with 20 years of F1, with different teams, with almost 10 years at McLaren, 12 years at Mercedes, and it's always good to have someone joining the team with this kind of experience, with this kind of vision, and to help us to improve that.
Vasseur has highlighted the positive team dynamic, noting that the two drivers are pushing in the same direction, which creates a constructive environment despite their competitive natures. The Miami Grand Prix may have ended with champagne and celebration, but the drama was far from over. In a stunning post-race twist, Red Bull and Max Verstappen filed a formal complaint to the FIA targeting Mercedes' George Russell. The accusation is that Russell failed to slow down appropriately under double-waved yellow flags when Oliver Behrman's Haas came to a halt, triggering a virtual safety car. The consequences of that alleged infraction: a controversial pit stop that handed Russell the final podium position, snatching it away from the reigning world champion by a mere 2.3 seconds. Verstappen, who had been trailing Russell, immediately questioned the legality of the move over team radio, setting the stage for an official protest. What started as a promising weekend for the 4-time champion quickly spiraled into frustration. After claiming pole position, Verstappen faced immediate pressure as the lights went out. Having initially held the lead off the line, Verstappen faced a challenge from Lando Norris in lap 1 before the Briton went wide, allowing Kimi Antonelli and Oscar Piastri through in the process. The Dutchman managed to keep Piastri at bay for several laps, but the McLaren's pace proved too much to handle. On lap 14, Piastri forced Verstappen into a crucial mistake at turn 1, taking a lead he would never relinquish. A resurgent Norris would soon follow through, dropping the world champion to 3rd, but the real blow came later when Russell's well-timed pit stop during a virtual safety car period leapfrogged him ahead of Verstappen. When asked about his race, Verstappen said,
"Yeah, we just didn't have the pace. We just were overheating a lot on the tires, so it was just quite a bit of a yeah, quite a bit of a struggle out there. And then of course we got a bit unlucky with the VSC as well. But